Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirsho here, and now, before I do get started, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. Now, Deku, he had a bit of a get-together at his property. Earlier that day, people came by trying to break into his house. They were successful, and Deku doesn't like what they did. Right now, this celebration of Kami coming back and him having new friends and old come together, yeah, it sort of was tainted because of what happened earlier today. People had to scrub blood out of his carpet. People had to scrub blood off the walls, off the furniture. And Deku, he just wasn't sure how to feel. He talked to Momo and Toru, and he was worried about what was going to happen between Kami and Rumi. However, the two, at Rei's insistence, they had a one-on-one conversation. And Fuyumi, she's never seen her mom act that way. It was a little surprising. Though, that wasn't the only thing that was quite surprising. Mirio came by, and he was surprised to see Kami with a baby, realizing exactly why Deku brought her back. Now, Deku, he has a lot going on. He asked Momo to make him some art pencils for a drawing he was making. And Toru, she was quite annoyed that Deku sketched her face. Now, a lot is happening in Deku's life. He is a father. He's still not exactly sure what that does mean. But when the next morning came around and he woke up to a baby crying, it started to feel just a little bit more real. People, they weren't sure about how to live in the house. Though with the fact that someone was already up in the morning making breakfast, the espresso maker was going, and the coffee maker was going, yeah, it meant quite a bit. Right now, Deku, he got up and started trying to help out. Though Kami, she handled things with Yuki. Mirako mentioned needing to go, since she does have to check in with Night Eye and talk about a different couple of matters that might be coming up. Now, Deku understood this. Whenever he sat down for breakfast that morning, he still had quite the number of guests who did stick around. Though, that was simple. They did stay for a few days. He talked with them, they did learn about what he exactly does here, and he just tried to go about his day. Go through his own normal routine. He would either look online for a few things, he'd work out, he'd start a hobby, or he'd just spend time with his daughter. It was a very relaxing new routine he found himself in. He can just settle down. In his mind, he knows there's a lot more that will need to happen. He still needs to deal with Sir Night Eye and his announcement as the head of the family. He needs to maybe call David Shield about his freelancer suit, or even commission a new one. If he is going to have some sort of light battle suit that could be incognito, well, it's going to need to be different. It's going to need to be something good. He never even got a chance to wear it. And he's fairly certain it will still fit. But maybe go for some more designs. Either more defensive or offensive. That might be the best case scenario. and he decided to put that on the back burner for a minute. A couple of days passed, and his guest, they eventually did leave. Momo and Mina, they were both quite happy to have met Deku. Ibara and Ochako, they did leave as well, though they were a lot more polite about their exit. Deku, he was already well aware about the situation. Miss Yaoyorozu wants to stay in his good graces and converse with him. If he's going to be the new head of the family, her being an actual Yagi spy does mean quite a bit. She'll have a place in Ryeko family operations and find out very quickly if something is happening, especially with her position as a resource acquisition specialist. Now, Mina's interest, from what Deku has seen, is purely off of appearance, and the fact that she, well, is a bit more of a free spirit. Though, it does make him think about what Fuyumi was doing a couple days ago, and that does bring a small little laugh to his throat. She knows she said something stupid or embarrassing or did something, especially considering the fact that Mina pointed it out the next morning. And she hasn't been trying to avoid him, but she definitely does seem to be a little bit more embarrassed about something. Even Rei pointing it out. Deku, however, today does need to sit down. Rhino him in his office after a good workout. And going to sit down and go to call someone. Right now, it coming through his night eye is on the other end. Hello? Sir Night Eye. I was hoping to have a quick conversation. About what, Mr. Midoriya? Not much. I still need to figure a few things out with the other bosses. Talk with them, converse with them instead of meeting at UA. I see. Is there something the matter? I'm trying to understand a few things about them. What information do we have on the other bosses? On Genist? Well, I know a bit about his powers, but you don't know about the others. Redestro, Overhaul? No, I don't. Okay. I can gather together information. And with that, you might need to set up to be months away. Exactly how powerful are you able to use One for All at this moment? Around 50%. I see. You're still a little weak? Sort of. Though, I'm certain if I did want to push it, I can maybe get to 60. 70 might be my breaking point. But even then, that's a different story. Maybe I can push 65, but using Fudgin, I'd be pushing maybe 110. I'm not sure. I see. And you're not willing to use the other ability? I could use it as a last resort. It's too dangerous. If I overuse it once, I'll be fine. But I did ignore the previous user about it. I see. That certainly does mean something. So you're around the same power when you fought Endeavor? Just a little weaker. Okay. Looking at this from a pure tactical standpoint, then, I would say I can get you the information. We can go through the ceremony to get you essentially put as the head. I will need to call a family meeting, and that may take some time, perhaps a month. But in that time, I should be able to have a few people behind me. There will be speculation and some discourse, but with everyone believing that you're Toshinori's son, it is a logical conclusion. You've already done much as an independent warlord, but as a Yagi warlord, that is a different story. A Yagi warlord? Enforcers. Many people can see the top 10 of any family as a warlord. Though, a family head is a different story. King, emperor, depending on how you want to scale it. It's typically called a boss. It's a whole system. Everyone has their own. But that is how we do allocate our system. I see. Yes. I'll get everything set up. For right now, though, you just need to understand that when we do go to the place, you will need to have a speech. Something written up. This does come with many dangers. If you do wish to bring Miss Kami along and announce to the world that the Ryuko family is a part of our system, there are disadvantages and advantages to that. However, if you did want to bring along anyone else, you may have to explain your own actions. Right now, you are still young. Perhaps the youngest boss in Japan. Many people will not respect you. So far, many people do fear you. Those who do may try to weasel their way in, and those who do may also have their own motives. I understand that. Understood. Please do keep in mind to stay cautious. And when news of this does get out, there may be some drama. Your home invasion. You have the footage, correct? Yes. Good. If you are able to, I will get it sent into the news. It will be put on some feeds and people will understand not to break into your home. But do you want me to censor information or leave it as it is? Can they tell if it's edited? If it's edited poorly, then yes. Have Midnight go over it and cut out the part. No, actually, don't. Just go over it and make the best choices possible. I will say that. Good. Is that all? Yes or no? I have a few other calls to make. Understood. Deku hanging up. Going to call over at Nezu. Nezu, he does answer the phone and express. Is there something that they can help him with? Mr. Nezu, I was quite curious about any updates. On the residence, the compound? Ah, well, yes. There has been some interesting developments, especially with the outreach of Mrs. Intelli. Is she rubbing you the wrong way? Miss Intelli does have her own interest in mind. And from my professional standpoint, yes, she does. But she has made valid concerns that we have already talked about. I've already received 5 emails from her this morning about potential ideas and designs that need to be either improved or she would like to inquire about. I see. Well, if it does make you feel any better, I may send you something as a gift for having to deal with her. That is quite alright, Mr. Midoriya. Are you sure? I'm fairly certain if I do look into it, I could get a pretty good cheese from Italy. A cheese? Well, Mr. Midoriya, if you do wish to be so gracious, I am not going to turn down a gift such as that. Of course. Though, speaking of gracious, I do need to be a good host. The families, they're going to be meeting together on neutral territory. I see. Yes. There are a number of locations to do this at, Mr. Midoriya. The most commonly agreed upon one is at UA, and it is quite a nice fine restaurant. Uh-huh. Yes. UA is completely in charge and independent, and they do have staff. The bosses will be given a private meeting room. And we do have devices monitoring everybody. You are all on camera and being eavesdropped on, if you do want to use that term, by people who do work under me. Along with that, matter is, we do have a number of other people on standby who we could schedule for the meeting. I would have to make sure their schedules are quite cleared, but they would take a profit from your down payment on the reservation. Ahead of time, of course. And this reservation is $10 million. Though it does come access with a person who is, in the best way of putting it, a lie detector. She can tell if someone is lying to you. And there is also the fact that another person in the room, they are there to help de-escalate the situation. I see. And how does this go? It goes quite simple, Mr. Midoriya. They are intermediaries. If you do wish to make deals, you can talk them through. As long as you are willing to go through a process of detection for lies, you may be able to get a very good deal out of things. But if you are not willing to play ball, then you might have to twist your arm a little bit, or your opponent's. Not physically, of course. I see. Do you have one of these reservations anytime soon? The latest one with their current schedules would be in 3 months. If something does pop up sooner, that's fine. I see. If that is the case, then is there anything else? The compound? The compound is being rushed. We are having our people dig it out, and we have hired some additional help with your discretion, but we are also ordering some more materials, so it will be faster, but also a little slower at the same time. We are going to have to go a little out of order, but if we do prefabricate certain things, waiting for the materials we do need to come in, then it will give us an additional time, if not a bit of leeway, if we do things a little out of order. We are expecting it to take the same time, but with a different process. We do hope you understand. That's quite fine. Are you alright, Mr. Midoriya? I'm alright. Just a little tired. Thank you. Understood. Have a good day. Him hanging up. And Deku, he does think. 3 months for a meeting with the other bosses. Good. Though he needs to make a bit of a statement. Okay, okay. What should he wear? Him standing up and heading back to his room. Right now, he does a step in and go to his closet, checking out a few suits that Ida did give him. The shoes all do look nice. Then again, this is all expensive material. Him stepping out. And when he does it'll walk into the living room, people do turn their heads looking directly at him. Deku wearing a green suit and putting his hands in his pocket, expressing, "How does this look?" Are you going somewhere? No, I'm not, Ray. Kami? Hmm, little snazzy. What's the occasion? I'm thinking of something for a meeting in a couple months. Is it bulletproof? Knife proof? I don't actually know. It just feels like regular material. I know. Ray going to stand, walking over and grabbing the suit jacket. It feels like a regular material. Though, what are you attempting? Some sort of, I guess, look? I want the other bosses to respect me. Right now, I have Ryoko essentially wrapped around my little finger with her oath, and she's happy enough to keep playing ball. But I haven't really had any interactions with the others. I mean, I don't mean to sound. I understand. You're going for some sort of look. You don't want to be seen based solely on your reputation, do you? Because color could pose quite a bit in the circumstance. What do you mean? Well, green isn't a color I would associate with violence. That would be red. Nor is it one I believe you can really be associated with, except for your hair color. Yes, it does match. And yes, that does look good for a suit. But you need something that does show a bit more of a statement. Not just that, but Endeavor, his kimono, his traditional dress for meetings, it was developed specially for a meeting with the other bosses, just in case anything ever broke out. Do you remember what he was wearing back at UA? I think so. That was a long time ago. Exactly. It was a specially developed suit that was made out of nano Kevlar. Really? It was expensive, but it was made in a way to make it look like regular material. Highly defensible and quick deploying. You can wear something underneath it to act as an undergarment. And click, and you have a suit. It does flow, look natural and normal, but in reality, you might as well have worn a battle suit to a meeting. And I highly doubt you want to dress for battle. That might also give the wrong impression. That's correct. Good. Might I recommend a kimono? Ray looking towards Fuyumi, and giving her daughter a bit of a cheeky grin, patting her on the shoulder, expressing, if she does go with him, they can match. No, it wasn't like that. A kimono can have up to 5 layers. That's why father wore it. It can, but they can also look fancy, decorative, or nice. Though, whatever made of that nano weave, or whatever it was made out of, they can certainly be quite defensive. Deku nodding his head and talking about it. He might go for something like that then. But, do they make shoes? I mean, he's not sure what he would wear on his feet. He doesn't exactly think that these would look too good. Him holding out a pair of fancy shoes, and she does go to nod, expressing. Perhaps I can buy him something in a different style, or just see what he does currently have. But it would be the best recommendation to go down this route. He can order one from UA or get it specially made from a specialized creator. Mr. Shield, he does provide that service as well. I see. Deku walking back to his room and going to have that phone call. And whenever he does the call in, his assistant does inform him that she will put him on hold for 1 second. Right now, Mr. Shield, he currently is in a meeting. Actually, she would be able to transfer him over to someone else. Deku expressing thanks before he does to hear another voice. Hello? Hello? Who is this? This is Melissa. And who am I speaking with? Mr. Midoriya. Izuku? Ah, yes, I see. My father and I made a suit for you a couple months back. Is this in regard to that? We weren't really expecting your call. It's not that, actually. Though I might bring that suit in for a small amount of readjustment. I haven't had the proper chance to wear it, or test out if I do need adjustments to it. I was calling because I wanted to get a specialized suit made. A new one? Yes. In about a month, I'm going to be raised to the head of the Yagi family. I, however, am going to be having a meeting with the other bosses in 3. Ah, I see the conundrum. You want something fancy that does show you're willing to sit down at the table and negotiate. But you also do want effectiveness, fancy and efficient, along with protective. Yes. Perfect. Do you have the style you would like it in? We would have to program it into a specialized. That's all technical jargon. We can get it developed for you. Though we will need a down payment of about 15 million. I can do that. I was told it was rather expensive, but that's not as pricey as I thought. Yes, well, the 15 million is only a third of the payment. I see. We will need some time to program everything and get what we do want. Deku describing it to her. And whenever she has to ask about anything else, Deku does mention that he does need some sort of specialized shoes for it as well. Her expressing that they can take care of that already. The kimono, it would need something for foot protection. Especially because that is going to be a vulnerable point he may have. And Deku does nod his head, happy that she was already thinking about that. And she does inform him about how the color palette will come later. First, they need to get it all programmed and prefabricated to a specific size. He may need to come in about a month or so, meet with her father and sit down, go over and tweak certain designs, but in that time frame, if he could bring in his other suit as well, they could see about modifications it may need. Though, a freelancer suit isn't one of their typical orders. Deku nodding and thanking her for the advice. Going to hang up. And right now, He does gotta lay back in his bed. God, he's got a lot to deal with. Okay, though. So he's got that all covered. Feels like he's just calling a lot of people lately. Nezu's dealing with his house, Nana's dealing with the other bosses, getting him information there. So what is there really left for him to do? That is a complicated one. I mean, dealing with his daughter has been a little harder than he would thought. Babies do need a lot of maintenance. Well, that should be expected. It does make him think of his own mom. You alright? I'm fine. Just thankful, I guess. How so? It's a lot. But, I mean, no power, nothing special, normal, just a mouth to feed. My parents, they had no reason to keep me around. But they did. I wouldn't say that. Then what would you say? You got lucky. How so? That completely contradicts my whole mindset about that. Kid, you were born quirkless. Nothing special, no power. Everyone born with a quirk, they always try and reach the top. You were born without one, didn't have a chance to begin with. Yet your mama kept you around, didn't she? You're lucky. Last time I heard about someone quirkless being born, didn't exactly end too well for them. And, well, your people, quirkless people, they're not exactly looked good upon. I know. Yeah. In your generation, there's just as many, right? A few, but I don't know. That might be because of All for One. A lot more of them around than you'd think. Really? Yeah. All for One's attempts to make better quirks. Taking them from people, their kids might end up quirkless or have some sort of strange mutation. Genetic toss up. Don't really know. Not a scientist. Some thought it stuck. Until they had children. But even then, the chances were slim that they'd be born quirkless. Some of those people, I think, stuck together. Little communities, little cliques. The normals. Yeah. I imagine they've got somewhere out there. One to run, hide, get away from everything. And all the commotion back then, they might have just gotten lost. Or killed. Right. Yeah. Anyways. You alright? Hey, yeah, I'm fine, Kimmy. Just got a lot going through my head. You sure? I'm conflicted. There's the battle suit, the technically the non-combat suit. There's the house. There's the people who broke in to this place. There's a lot going on. There's also this thing happening with everyone. With everyone. Yeah, I mean, You're being cheeky again. Me not being cheeky. My friends liked you. Eh, I'm not so sure about that. Did you talk with Momo? I did. She wanted to have a more in depth conversation about something. I see. Did you talk with Mina? I did. Mina's curious about you? I don't know how to even start with that. Okay. How did everything go with, Rumi? Everything went fine. She's wary about keeping an eye on me, but we're coming to an understanding, I'm sure. Though, it might take time. Good. Now I'm dealing with another couple of things. Toru and Fuyumi, for one. Toru? She's interested in you? Oh, yeah. Even offered to let me paint a portrait. Paint a portrait? There's a lot of things you don't know about her, do you? Like, are you two already seeing each other? No. Though, I'm definitely been seeing her. How? What? Deku giving her a grin, making us over to his office, as she does it a follow. And whenever Deku does it a pull out the sketch to show her, she does a stare at it, staring for a second before it does the click. Wait, how? Huh? That's her? Yep. There's a lot that is going on. Some stuff I can tell you, and some I probably shouldn't. But just know that her abilities, they're more complicated than you think. She's adorable. I mean, she's pretty. How? Huh? But since when can she do that? The whole time. Okay. I don't even know where to begin. If you're gonna deal with Fuyumi, then deal with her. Though she does seem to be a little frigid. Frigid is one way to start with it. Though I'm sure she'll warm up to me soon. She seems to be interested. You are blind. Not really. It's up to her. Right now, Kimi nodding her head. And going to leave. And Izuku, he does enjoy his somewhat slow life. He does have a spar with Muscular the next day. And Muscular, the man is quite elated. Deku does even go out to talk with the guys to see what's going on with them. And it is interesting. They are able to give Ida some shit because that Ochako girl he met, the brunette, seemed interested in him. And it is rather funny, somewhat amusing. And we do have almost a full month later. Right now, people in the Yagi family, they have been told about what is happening. Izuku Midoriya is going to be taking the helm of the Yagi family. A lot of it is currently been left up to speculation. But people, they've been conversing. They have heard that UA, they are getting certain things prepared. However, they've also heard the order for any family to come back to Tokyo. Right now, send a representative their way, someone who can get the message to the other members of their families. And today is that day. Right now, Deku, he does step out of a vehicle. And he does have a suit specially tailored to his own body. It does mean quite a bit. Right now, Kami, she's gotten out. And she is on his left. Right now, her holding their daughter in a baby carrier. And Deku, he does a turn, bring out a hand, as Fuyumi Todoroki does step out of the vehicle. Her in a dress, as Deku, he does go to bring an arm up and allow her to cling to him. Right now, her wrapping an arm in his, as they do make their way inside. And a few people, they do the turn looking his way. Right now, some do nod their heads in acknowledgement. Some do bow. And Deku, when he does walk into the extravagant place, he does be met with a room filled with people. Right now, Night-Eye, he does stand on stage with a number of the enforcers. All of them. And standing on stage as well is Muscular. Deku, he does see the man. He does look slightly uncomfortable, and Deku does to see that. As he does hear the room fall silent. And Sir Night-Eye, he does go to clink a glass directly together with a knife, expressing, calling for silence. Today is quite an extravagant evening. He has called them all here together tonight to discuss some of the rumors they have been hearing. He would like to dispel some of them. Izuku Midoriya, he is a member of the Yagi family. Yes, he is Toshinori's son. That rumor needs to be put to rest. Laid bare out into the open. Tonight is quite an extravagant night. He is stepping down as the head of the Yagi family. And turning and bringing a hand up, expressing to Izuku to please come on stage. This is a night for him after all. Deku, he does go to have the two women let go of his arms and begin to walk. Whenever Deku does walk up the stairs on stage, Night-Eye, he does a turn. Right now, him going to bow as he does a fall to a knee, bring a hand to his heart, and expressing, as the head of the Yagi family, he is happy to give him control. He's happy to be his loyal second in command, if he does deem it to be so. Right now, a lot of things are happening. Some enemies have begun to make moves. People have begun to look at them. And they do need strength. He needs to fill the void his father left behind. And they need his leadership. He's taken down the Todoroki family. And the dealings with the Ryuko family have gone well. Him raising his head as he does a stop his bow, glancing at Deku and expressing. However, they have yet to announce that just yet. Tonight is a secured night. He is not certain if that is what he does wish to voice. And Deku does get a nod. Him turning to the other members of the room. And many of them, they do go to fall to their knee, or they do to give bows. Some do even give salutes. Deku does get to see it. Him turning and seeing that even the top 10 of the family, they're doing the same exact thing. And Deku does a look around. He does spot someone who does sit there on a knee. Right next to them is a woman with burning green hair. Quite hard to miss in the crowd. Along with members of the Todoroki family. I'm sorry, the former family. He does mean to spot their dress. What makes them look different? They aren't wearing the typical regular suits. Some of them are dressed in kimonos. Some are even dressed in a different fashion, different colors. Not the formal dress the Yagi family would have for tonight. And Deku, he does go to address this. Right now, he wants all of them to be aware. What happened over in Endeavor's territory? The allies he's made, the people who have been sworn in to the Yagi family, they are now their people. In fact, bring out a hand and asking Fuyumi to please come on stage. And Fuyumi, she does come walking up, her making way over to Deku as he does express. Many of them know who this young, lovely lady is. I know her standing next to Deku, him wrapping an arm around her and bringing his hand up to her shoulder. This lovely lady is Fuyumi Todoroki. He brought her back to Yagi territory. She's quite a lovely woman. About a month ago, people tried breaking into his house, attempting to kidnap her. They may have heard about what happened to the remaining survivor, what he did to that man. He hasn't gotten the full story about it yet, but he has been a little busy. Tonight, he does wish to announce one simple thing. This lovely woman and her mother and Natsuo Todoroki, they are individuals who are close to him. An attack on them is an attack on him. She is innocent. So is Rei. Natsuo is more involved with family business. But even then, he will not let an attack on him go unpunished. They are Yagis. They're under family protection. But most importantly, this lovely woman, she is part of his family. Right now, Deku, he does hold up 2 bracelets. And Natsuo, he does stare directly at them. And he does get a pause, realizing what they are. And Deku does express. One of these bracelets belonged to Fuyumi. Another one belonged to Rei. This lovely woman was quite surprised when he mentioned what he was doing today. In fact, she burst into laughter and some joyous tears. He doesn't intend to ever make people he does care about cry, but happy crying is something he does quite enjoy. Now, this is to symbolize their freedom. They are Yagis. They are a part of his family. They're free. Deku dropping them to the stage. And Fuyumi, she just step in front of Deku and immediately plant a kiss on him. As Deku does bring his hands up, wrapping them around her waist. And Natsuo, he does go to spit out his wine. Right now the champagne flying through the air and crash into the ground. Some people do a turn looking at him. And Vernon, she does pat him on the back, trying to help him out. And some other people who do know who that man is, they start to laugh. As Deku, he does pull away from Fumi. And she does go to walk past him, but first lean into his chest, whispering something into his ear. And Deku, he does acknowledge it, expressing, "Now, before dinner for the evening does also begin, they do need to talk about family a little more. Muscular, if he would." The man stepping forwards and beginning to take off his large red shirt and fall to his knees. Right on him, tossing the shirt to the side as Deku does begin, bringing up his left hand before he does go to wave it away, expressing to Sir Night-Eye, actually no, he'll use this ability. Rhino Black Whip forming in his hand, and he does go to elongate it, expressing, whenever he took his oath for the Yagi family, they talked about loyalty, secrecy, respect, honesty, and honor. The 5 tenets the family has used to survive. Some of these tenets, they seem a little strange. Honesty and secrecy, they clash. He used to think about that quite a bit. But in his time with the family, he knows what it really does mean. Right now, this man, he has broke honor. He has broke respect. And he has broke loyalty. In his years in service to the family under his father, he has kept those tenets. He kept all of them. However, when his father died, the man ran from the family, thinking no one would ever rise he could respect. Not like dear old dad. Now, the two have clashed. Everyone is aware of that. But today isn't a clash. Today is a punishment. The man gave over a decade to the family. So, his time away, a little over a year, they'll call it a dozen even. In fact, even a baker's dozen just to make it a little bit more fair. Muscular, they go lashing out, and 2 tendrils go flying, slashing across his back as the man does go to stumble forward on his hands. Him nearly letting out a yell of pain. He can regenerate. It only does seem fair that this is fast. Though, he'll lash out. He'll make sure it gets done. They're going to take this slow. Does he understand that, Muscular? Yes, boss. Good. You heal. Let's see how fast you can heal. Deku waiting, and the man's wounds are still bleeding. But after a full minute, he does begin to see the blood flow stop. Deku lashing out again, and then waiting a minute, again, waiting another minute. 10 minutes to pass by. And some people, they do go to wince in pain every time 2 slashes are sent out from Deku. After 12 minutes, the stage does have blood pooling from the man's back, and his clothes, his pants, are soaked in blood. Muscular, he does just sit there. Whenever 2 people do come on stage to drag the man away, his back is on display for many of them. The first slash, they can see it. It is covered in a bright red, well, irritation scar. It's still closing up, but you can tell that that thing is beginning to swell, especially from how hard that guy was slashing into him. I mean, hell, they thought a whip was bad. This you can practically hear rattle your damn teeth, especially from the way it does slide and leave blood on the stage. And Deku does get to talk about it. Now, someone will clean that up, and they will have their meals. Though he can see that Natsuo does wish to join him on stage. Come now, bring his lovely lady up. They have much to discuss. And people, they do begin to part ways. Deku does get to sit down. Right now, someone pouring him a glass of whiskey. And Izuku, he does go to slide it forward towards Natsuo. Right now, another person pouring him another glass and setting it in front of him. Before they do go to look around, looking to the glass, pulling it back over, and going to add a few more things. Adding some lemon garnish inside, as well as putting them inside a small chamber and smoking both of the glasses. Deku, he does a turn staring at that. Natsuo, he does get a walk up, a little annoyed, but he does get to relax. 2 seats are open for them at the table, and when he does a sit down, Deku does go to hold out the glass to Natsuo. Him accepting it, as Deku does take a swig from his own. That is rather nice. Him looking up at Natsuo and seeing frost form on the outside of his glass. Do you mind explaining what you're doing with my sister? Natsuo, Fuyumi, is he blackmailing you? In any way has he hurt you? Is he forcing himself on you? Did he threaten Mom? No. Calm down. He hasn't done any of that. I like him. Her face a little red, and Deku does express. It's been quite an interesting month. Though, it is true, he's melted her frosty heart. Can you not make jokes about this? Are you certain of that? I am. I made my choice. Besides, he's a good guy. Him glancing over at Kimi. And Kimi, she is holding a baby. She looks to be relaxed, calm, not a care in the world. He knows exactly what this man in front of him is capable of. But whenever Deku does reach over and go to look down at his own daughter, the woman doesn't look scared. Her body language is relaxed. And she does look up, catching him staring. Right now, Burnin does bring a hand out, putting it on his leg and going to give him a squeeze. A little tight, as he does a turn looking at her. It's alright. So why did you want us up here? I wanted to make you a proposition. What proposition? Fact of the matter is, I've heard there's much contention between the former Todoroki family. Members that I believe Burning has been hearing about. And that my people have heard about. Miss Ragdoll, Miss Midnight, we've both had to deal with quite a few things. That's true. If I can interject, Tenko stepping in. Whenever it does come down to our dealings with your former Todorokis, it's a bit more difficult. Some of them, they look at our family values and see wisdom in them, but not what we see. They've learned from your father's system. No offense. And they're bastardizing a bit of it. They're having trouble translating our family values to what your family had in turn. They think some of the same words mean the same thing, but their interpretation is vastly different. That sounds like a conflict. It is. Fact of the matter is, we need Burnin to help straighten them out, along with you, Natsuo. Well said. Now, Natsuo, I understand you want to get out of this life, so I will make you this offer. Him blinking, looking at Burnin, and turning to Fuyumi. You can see an almost desperate plea in his eye. Is this a joke? For God's sake, don't let those words be a joke. Listen. You were born into the family. Your whole life has been this. If you help, you can leave if you want. I will send you off with money. Do you understand that? I'd be willing to pay you in advance, and you can take the money and run after sorting everything out with the former Todorokis. It's a lot. I get it. A lot to think about. I'm not abandoning my family. Not what blood I have left. My dad abandoned blood. He abandoned family. I mean, my dad made a mistake. I'm not gonna do the same shit he did. That's a complicated question you're asking me, and a complicated thing you just said. I don't know where to start with answering it, and right now him knocking back his glass. And, waiting a second, Burnin stepping in. You're asking him to do quite a lot. And her turning to look at him. I think that he's having a problem with it. I know I'm definitely willing to stick around and help out. If we can't integrate properly, then some of our people might break away again. And with the oath, some of us have already sworn to the Yagi family, that would become problematic. We'd fracture even more. The Yagi Todorokis and the Todoroki faction wouldn't exactly be very good to each other. But if I can help integrate them, perhaps that can be beneficial. Helpful? We've already had some of our own guys attacking our own guys. People don't seem to understand that's not an easy thing for some of our guys to do. Former friends fighting former friends. Lovers fighting lovers. Family fighting family. A brotherhood and a sisterhood ripped to shreds. Because Endeavor couldn't let a blood feud be a blood feud. He made a mistake there. One, unfortunately, sweetheart, I think you're not going to repeat. The offer's nice, but we'll stay. Natsuo nodding his head, and Deku does nod back, expressing the offer will still stand. Though, perhaps she would like to give a speech, or he would, about this. It may sound better coming from her, considering the fact that she was the number two. Yes, boss. Her going to stand, turning and getting ready. Deku, he does a stand, calling for silence and allowing her to speak. And she does tell many members of the Todorokis here exactly what they need to understand. Values are different. Words mean different things here. A number of things are happening. This is a change, one they will need to deal with. And Deku does sit back and listen. She talks about how the brutality of the Endeavor territory is finally over. Endeavor being a ruthless man of power, that has gone away. This is a new age, one where they can afford to relax. They can afford to be a little less guarded. Fact is, things are getting better. They will take down the loyalist and make sure to eliminate them. Afterwards, they may see how to go forward with the areas they've already claimed. And if the other factions do attempt to claim them, her turning back to Deku. Deku expressing. Then he will step in and figure everything out. He does have a meeting with the other bosses discussing matters in 2 months. And if they do think that they can pull the rug out from underneath them, they have another problem heading their way. Now, feast and be merry. All of them doing exactly that. And Natsuo, he does try talking to his sister. Her inviting them over tomorrow. And she does deliberately turn to Deku, asking him if that's possible. And he does nod his head, talking about it. That's fine. Though he needs to maybe reschedule with the Shield family. That or is that the... No, that might be the day after. He's not sure. He knows that he might need to go in and talk to the Shield family about his nanosuit. And she does nod her head. Right now, Deku digging into his food and trying to enjoy the evening. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.